It's unbelievable, yet this is exactly where China stands today. This is no longer a phase that can be endured or explained away. Pretending has become more dangerous than speaking out, because pretending only delays collapse until it becomes irreversible. Throughout history, the poor have never truly been allowed to speak the truth, and no system has ever been willing to help them do so. They are trained to endure, to remain silent, to swallow injustice as fate. Lately, I've been drifting from city to city, sleeping in my car, watching once busy streets fade into darkness. One night I had a strange dream. An old man appeared and said, "When the dragon turns, the horse follows." When I woke up, the meaning was clear. Every collapsing dynasty follows the same path. Trust collapses first, then the economy, and finally speech itself. When no one is allowed to talk, it means the system has run out of answers and is surviving on tricks. It may still be standing today, but only by clinging to the edge. There is a pattern that never changes. When the rules stop favoring them, they talk about facts. When facts turn against them, they hide behind rules. When the law becomes inconvenient, they invoke morality. When morality fails, they exploit emotions. When emotions no longer work, they retreat to culture and tradition. And when even tradition collapses, they sell fantasies, bigger promises, louder dreams, emptier lies. On the surface, a country's strength looks like power. In reality, it is attitude. How a state treats its people is exactly how the world will treat it. A nation's backbone is not slogans or intimidation, but ordinary people. Real confidence is not measured by loud rhetoric, but by whether people live with dignity, stability, and a sense of security. Break someone's legs, then hand them crutches and demand gratitude. Push them into an abyss, then throw down a rope and call yourself their savior. Crush their dignity, then claim no one else would tolerate their humiliation. At that point, what is the difference between a human being and a beast of burden? What is the difference between governance and banditry? Look around. What remains? Delivery work has become the most active profession, yet even that barely sustains survival. Physical shops vanish, streets fall silent, and happiness becomes a forgotten word. China's economic collapse is no longer hidden. Foreign capital is fleeing. Businesses are shutting down. Incomes are evaporating. Unemployment spreads quietly but relentlessly. An entire year passes with no recovery, while daily life grows heavier and control tightens further. As the year ends, anger no longer simmers. It boils. Wage protests and rights defense actions erupt one after another. On platforms like Douyin, coded language gives way to direct confrontation. Young people lose jobs, families drown in mortgages, and survival replaces living. Analysts call this a breaking point, but for ordinary people, something has already snapped. History is clear about moments like this. This is never the beginning of stability. This is the warning before the fall. At first, they told you poverty was your fault because you didn't work hard enough. When that excuse collapsed, they shifted the blame and said you made the wrong choices, that choices mattered more than effort. Now they've upgraded the lie again. They say you're poor because you don't understand human nature, because you don't know how to be a proper person. What they will never admit is the simplest truth of all, that they are the reason you are poor. And yet they still expect you to believe that people who won't even allow you to speak the truth can somehow deliver you a bright and beautiful future. That level of belief isn't optimism anymore. It's obedience disguised as hope. Not long ago, I received a call from the local community police asking me to come in because of something I said online. After repeated questioning, they finally admitted it was about a short video I had posted, just a simple question asking who actually fights telecom fraud and who the real enemy really is. Shortly after that, the video became visible only to me. No explanation, no warning. I had to ask out loud, isn't this a Chinese platform? Isn't it supposed to be Chinese? And if so, where exactly is freedom of speech supposed to exist? I checked carefully. You can't post about standing on the sidelines. You can't talk about lying flat. You can't mention fish water wages, living conditions abroad, falling housing prices, or even something as vague as positive or negative energy. In the end, I did what they wanted. I deleted it. Obediently. But here's the part they don't want to talk about. Believe it or not, a group is forming in this society that fears absolutely nothing. They have no families to protect, no children to worry about, no property to lose, and often no future to bargain with. Some of them are already drowning in debt. They can live anywhere, survive on almost nothing, and once injustice touches their personal interests, they can become terrifyingly fearless. Many of today's viral controversies and breaking stories don't come from elites or media teams. They come from people like this. They are the ones with nothing left to trade for silence. People joke that if you put 10,000 new cars on the streets, there definitely won't be a war. Why? Because the true beneficiaries are never the ones who fight. The moment war breaks out, their gold, mansions, antiques, offshore accounts, and inherited wealth all turn to smoke. So think about it logically. Even with all the loud online shouting about fighting Taiwan or showcasing modern drone warfare, those who actually profit from the system will never allow real war to happen. That's why some comments sound absurd on purpose. Send me to persuade Taiwan, and if it doesn't work, I won't come back. Or, give me a green card and I'll go persuade America. These aren't serious proposals. They're sarcasm born from despair. History keeps repeating itself even when people pretend not to see it. When the Qing dynasty collapsed, the first people to enter the Forbidden City weren't foreign invaders. They were Chinese mercenaries recruited by foreign powers around Weihai. The crisis ahead is far more terrifying than the one we're already living through. When people stop donating money, stop giving blood, stop protecting culture, and stop believing that participation matters, society doesn't just weaken, it hollows out. Slogans like, ready to fight at any time, certain to win, sound powerful, but reality answers with mockery. You couldn't get the oil, at least bring the barrel back. Even bandits in history had rules. They didn't rob the blind or the lonely. They didn't force marriages. They avoided beggars, monks, students, doctors' families, and the truly helpless. That's why pushing today's moral collapse onto banditry is an insult to bandits, because even bandits had a bottom line. And yet now you see comments saying, give me a gun, I'll go to the airport, or eat and drink without me, but call me when it's time to die. The most shocking part isn't the anger, it's where these comments appear. Not on Twitter, not on YouTube, but under official media accounts, under real name systems, under verified platforms. Recently, waves of highly sensitive historical and political content have surged across Chinese short video platforms. Figures once considered untouchable are suddenly discussed openly. Videos spread like a tower rush, unstoppable for days. Netizens describe it as something they've never seen before. It's not organization, it's pressure. It's not coordination, it's accumulation. Public anger is approaching a blast point. Calls are spreading among people buried in debt, urging collective refusal, collective resistance, collective awakening. A society is supposed to hold the bottom line for life. People today aren't exhausted because they're lazy or incompetent. They're exhausted because the environment never truly protects ordinary people. A functional system should catch those at the bottom when they're sick, when they're old, when they lose the ability to work. At the very least, it should not strip away their dignity and sense of security. But look around. Education fails, healthcare fails, retirement fails. All that remains are beautiful slogans, and no one actually asking how you're doing. I've seen other places, other systems, other ways of living. People there aren't magically stronger or smarter. They're simply not forced to survive in a world without a safety net for decades. Some say the United States is finished, pointing to disasters, bills, and crises. But travel videos tell a different story. So what is real? And what is propaganda? Parents have waited nearly 2 years just to see their child's remains, only to be told they must sign secrecy agreements, promise not to appeal, and accept deductions from compensation if they delay. Shouldn't tragedies like this be public, so other parents can choose safer schools? And why is it that the most important matters are kept secret, while ordinary people's phone numbers are sold openly, leaked everywhere, and exploited within hours? One resident from Guangzhou, Hebei, said that after understanding Falun Dafa and the history of persecution, he chose to withdraw from party organizations. He spoke of decades of political violence, disasters, pandemics, chained woman cases, student deaths, and organ harvesting allegations. Whether people agree or disagree with his conclusion, one thing is undeniable. When ordinary citizens begin publicly cutting ties, speaking out, and refusing silence, it's not a coincidence. It's a signal. History has seen this pattern before, and history is never gentle when those signals are ignored.